Welcome back to the Rare Coins All World, coin collectors and enthusiasts. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that is often overlooked by many but could be hiding a treasure worth more than you think. We're talking about the 1980 Roosevelt Dime, a seemingly simple coin that has the potential to change your fortune. So, if you're sitting on a collection of old coins, don't go anywhere, because what you're about to learn might just surprise you. The Roosevelt Dime is one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history, and it's been circulating since 1946. Designed by John R. Sinnock, the coin features the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, on the obverse, and the reverse showcases a torch flanked by an olive branch and oak branch. It's a coin that represents unity and peace, as well as the legacy of Roosevelt's leadership through difficult times. Now, what makes the 1980 Roosevelt Dime so special? Well, it's not about the design, it's about the rarity and condition of the coin. You see, the 1980 dime was minted in relatively high quantities, well over 1 billion coins were produced that year. But as with any coin, most of them were used in daily transactions, and over time, many became worn, tarnished, or damaged. The key to determining whether your 1980 Roosevelt dime holds significant value lies in its condition. Most of the dimes you find today will be in a state of wear, but the ones that have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition are incredibly rare. These coins have been well preserved, with sharp details and minimal signs of use. Coins like these are the ones that can bring in serious money. The demand for such coins has increased over the years as collectors recognize their historical significance and rarity. Another factor that makes this coin so intriguing is that, among the billions of 1980 dimes minted, a very small percentage were struck with minting errors. Minting errors can occur for a variety of reasons, such as misaligned dies, double strikes, or even errors in the metal content used. These errors can drastically increase the value of a coin, especially when the error is rare and difficult to find. Collectors are particularly keen on error coins because they are unique and often have an appeal that standard coins simply can't match. When it comes to the value of the 1980 Roosevelt dime, the coin's worth skyrockets if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition or has a rare minting error. While most dimes of this year will be worth just a few cents, there are examples that have been sold for much more. The most impressive part is that a particularly well-preserved or error-struck coin can fetch prices in the tens of thousands of dollars. And that's no exaggeration. So, what's the actual value of this coin in the current market? If you're lucky enough to own a 1980 Roosevelt dime in mint condition, or better yet, one with a rare error, you could be looking at a remarkable price. The 1980 Roosevelt dime, in top-tier condition or with a minting flaw, can be worth up to $39,000. Yes, you heard that right, $39,000. Imagine stumbling upon a coin in your collection worth that much. It's mind-blowing to think that a small, everyday dime could hold so much value. So, next time you come across a 1980 Roosevelt dime, make sure to inspect it closely. You might be holding onto something truly extraordinary. Remember, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and you never know when you might find your own hidden treasure. Today, we're going to uncover the fascinating story of a coin that could be worth more than most people would ever expect, a coin that's been hiding in plain sight for over a century. That's right, today we're diving into the legendary United States Roosevelt dime from 1894. This seemingly humble coin has a rich history, and its value may just blow your mind. Now, we all know the Roosevelt dime as the 10-cent coin we use in everyday transactions. But not all Roosevelt dimes are created equal. While most of these coins from later years are fairly common, the 1894 Roosevelt dime is an entirely different story. It's one of the most sought-after and valuable dimes in the world, and its history is just as intriguing as its value. The 1894 Roosevelt dime wasn't actually a Roosevelt dime in the way we think of it today. The coin was minted long before Franklin D. Roosevelt became president, and in fact, the coin was part of the Barber dime series. The Barber dime was designed by Charles E. Barber, the chief engraver of the United States Mint at the time, and it was produced from 1892 to 1916. The design features Lady Liberty on the obverse and a simple but powerful design of a wreath and the word "one dime" on the reverse. So, why is the 1894 Roosevelt dime so special? Well, here's the thing, this coin is incredibly rare. Out of the millions of dimes that were minted in the 1890s, only a handful of 1,894 dimes were produced. In fact, it's believed that only 24 coins were struck that year. That alone makes it an extremely rare find. But the rarity doesn't stop there. The 1894 Roosevelt dime is also famous for its unique history. You see, these dimes weren't widely distributed. They were actually produced for specific, important individuals in the United States government, which means that not many of these coins ever made it into circulation. Most of the 1894 dimes were given to prominent figures, and the rest were locked away, never to be seen again by the general public for many years. Because so few of these coins were minted and even fewer have survived over the years, the 1894 Roosevelt dime has become one of the most coveted coins among collectors. It's an example of both rarity and historical significance, a combination that makes it highly desirable in the world of numismatics. But just how much could one of these rare dimes be worth today? The value of a 1894 Roosevelt dime can vary depending on its condition, but in general, they are worth a pretty penny. In fact, if you happen to have one of these dimes in excellent condition, especially one that has been carefully preserved over the years, you could be holding on to a coin worth an extraordinary amount of money. In some cases, a well-maintained 1894 Roosevelt dime can fetch up to an astounding $41,000, that's right, $41,000 for a single dime. It's hard to imagine that something as small as a dime could be worth that much, but when you take into account the rarity, historical significance, and the high demand from collectors, it's easy to see why this coin is so valuable. If you're lucky enough to stumble upon one of these coins in your collection or while going through your spare change, make sure to get it appraised by a professional before you decide to part with it. You could be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it, so, whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone with an interest in rare finds, the 1894 Roosevelt dime is definitely a coin to keep an eye out for. The history behind this coin is rich, its rarity is undeniable, and its value continues to rise as more collectors seek to own a piece of American numismatic history. Today, we're diving into a truly fascinating coin that has been a hidden gem for collectors for decades. Imagine stumbling across a 10-cent coin from the 1800s, and not just any dime, but the United States Roosevelt dime from 1867. Yes, you heard that correctly. The year 1867 may sound far in the past, but this coin has a modern-day value that might just blow your mind. If you're ready to learn about a rare and valuable piece of history, stay with us as we explore the Roosevelt dime from 1867 and its incredible worth in today's market. Now, we all know the modern Roosevelt dime that we use today. It's one of the most iconic coins in America's currency system. However, if you've ever wondered where this coin came from, we have to take a step back in time, because the Roosevelt dime we recognize today didn't exist in 1867. That's because, in 1867, the coin in question wasn't part of the Roosevelt series at all. Instead, it's a coin from a much earlier series, the seated Liberty dime. The seated Liberty design first appeared on U.S. coins in 1837 and continued until 1891, long before Franklin D. Roosevelt's image graced the dime. The seated Liberty design features Lady Liberty sitting on a rock, holding a shield in one hand and a long pole in the other. The coin's reverse shows a wreath surrounding the words, "one dime." This design, though often overlooked by collectors today, represents a critical period in U.S. history, and coins from this era are highly sought after by numismatists. But what makes the 1867 Roosevelt dime, or rather the seated Liberty dime from 1867, so valuable? Well, for starters, it's all about rarity. While millions of coins were minted in the 1800s, the 1867 seated Liberty dime was produced in much smaller quantities compared to other years. Because of the coin's age, many of the dimes that were originally minted have long since been lost, damaged, or worn out from years of circulation. Today, finding one in good condition is a rarity in and of itself. What makes this particular year stand out even more is the fact that the 1867 seated Liberty Dime is one of the few coins from that era that has not only survived but has also remained in a relatively well-preserved state. Coins from this period that retain sharp, clear details are highly prized. A dime from 1867 that has been kept in uncirculated or near uncirculated condition is considered a major find. The condition of the coin is key to its value. As you might expect, coins from the 1800s are rarely found in mint condition. Most of them were used for daily transactions, which means they were worn down by constant handling. However, some 1867 seated Liberty dimes have escaped the ravages of time and are in near perfect condition, making them incredibly valuable to collectors. But wait, there's more. In addition to the rarity in condition, the 1867 seated Liberty Dime holds a special place in the history of American coinage. This coin was minted during the Reconstruction era, a time of rebuilding and change in the United States after the Civil War. The symbolism of the seated Liberty Dime, with Lady Liberty confidently holding her shield, represents the resilience and strength of the country as it recovered from the devastating war. Owning one of these coins is like holding a tangible piece of history. So, what's the price tag for this rare and valuable coin? If you happen to have an 1867 seated Liberty Dime in uncirculated condition, or even one with minimal wear, you could be looking at a significant payday. Coins like this, especially those with a historical background and in excellent condition, can fetch prices far beyond face value. In fact, depending on the condition and demand, an 1867 seated Liberty Dime could be worth up to $43,000. That's right, $43,000 for a single dime. It's hard to believe that a small, 10-cent coin from the 1800s could be worth so much, but when you factor in its rarity, historical significance, and the condition of the coin, it's easy to see why it commands such a high price in today's market. If you've ever come across a collection of old coins or have inherited some from a relative, it might be worth taking a closer look at the dimes you have. Who knows? You could be sitting on a small fortune. The 1867 seated Liberty Dime is just one example of how valuable coins from America's past can be, and it's a great reminder that the world of numismatics is full of surprises. Today, we're going to take a close look at a truly iconic piece of American history, the Roosevelt Dime from 1983. You might have one of these in your collection right now, and you wouldn't believe just how valuable it could be. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a newcomer to the hobby, this coin has a fascinating story, and it could be worth a lot more than you think. The Roosevelt Dime, first minted in 1946, was introduced to honor the memory of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who passed away in 1945. His legacy as a president during one of America's most challenging times, especially his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, led to this coin's creation. The coin features a striking profile of Roosevelt himself, a dignified symbol of strength and perseverance. Over the decades, the Roosevelt Dime has been a key part of American currency, circulating millions of times and becoming a staple in everyday transactions. Now, let's take a closer look at the 1983 version of this dime. This coin may seem pretty ordinary on the surface, but there's something special about it that might surprise you. At first glance, you might not think that a coin as small as this one could have much value beyond its face value of just 10 cents. But, as with many rare coins, condition, minting errors, and other unique factors can dramatically influence a coin's worth. So, what makes the 1983 Roosevelt Dime so special? Like many other coins in the United States, it was struck at the U.S. Mint during a time of economic stability, yet it was produced with specific qualities that make it a highly sought-after piece by collectors. The dimes minted in 1983 are relatively common, but certain factors, like the state of preservation and any potential minting mistakes, can make a huge difference in value. One thing that sets the 1983 Roosevelt Dime apart from its counterparts is the rarity of those coins in near-perfect condition. Coins that have remained in uncirculated condition, free from wear and tear, are extremely hard to come by. Most coins in circulation experience some degree of damage over time, scratches, tarnishing, or even discoloration. When a coin is preserved in its original, flawless state, collectors go wild over it. But what if I told you there's more to it than just uncirculated condition? The real value of the 1983 Roosevelt dime lies in the possibility of a minting error. Mint errors are like treasure for collectors, as they are unique and often drastically increase the value of a coin. These errors can range from double strikes to off-center prints or even die cracks. Such imperfections make these coins one of a kind, and people who own them can command a premium for their rarity. Now, let's talk about the value of this coin. While most 1983 Roosevelt dimes are worth only their face value, just 10 cents, those rare, uncirculated examples or those with minting errors can be worth much more. How much more, you ask? Well, some of these rare coins have been known to fetch impressive prices at auction. In fact, if you happen to possess a pristine, error-free 1983 Roosevelt dime, or one that's in exceptional condition with some unique minting anomalies, you could be looking at a value that far exceeds what you might expect. In some cases, these rare finds have been known to reach a staggering $49,000, yes, you heard that right, $49,000 for a single Roosevelt dime from 1983. It's incredible how a small, everyday coin can hold such a significant value in the world of coin collecting. So, what does this mean for you? If you've got a stash of old coins lying around, or if you happen to come across a 1983 Roosevelt dime in your change, it might be worth taking a closer look. Before you get too excited, remember that not every 1983 Roosevelt dime is going to be worth this much. It's all about the condition, the rarity of minting errors, and the overall demand from collectors. But if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare, valuable dimes, you could be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. To maximize the value of your coin, make sure to keep it in the best condition possible. If you suspect you have a rare or error coin, it's worth getting it professionally graded by an expert. A professional evaluation will give you a clear idea of the coin's true worth and ensure you're not undervaluing it. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and sometimes the most unassuming coins turn out to be worth much more than we ever imagined. So, the next time you come across a 1983 Roosevelt dime, take a closer look. It could be worth a lot more than just 10 cents. Today's video is going to blow your mind. We're taking a deep dive into a coin that many people overlook, the United States Roosevelt dime from 1987. This small, humble coin may seem like just another dime in your pocket, but trust me, there's much more to it than meets the eye. Now, we all know the Roosevelt dime has been a part of American currency since 1946. It was created in honor of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who led the country through the Great Depression and World War II. This coin was meant to pay tribute to his leadership and legacy, and to this day, it remains a staple in our pocket change. But today, we're zooming in on a specific year, the 1987 Roosevelt dime, and exploring why this coin, though often overlooked, could be a major prize for collectors. When it comes to coins, it's all about rarity, condition, and sometimes, a little bit of luck. Sure, the 1987 Roosevelt dime may seem like a coin you'd find in any change jar, but there's something special about it. The dimes from this year were struck during a relatively stable period in U.S. history, but it's the subtle details, minting errors, and overall condition that can make this coin more valuable than most people realize. First, let's talk about the design of the 1987 Roosevelt dime. On the obverse, you'll see the familiar, dignified profile of President Roosevelt himself. The image, created by sculptor John R. Sinek, has been a part of the dime for decades and serves as a reminder of Roosevelt's lasting influence on the nation. Surrounding Roosevelt's image are the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date, 1987. It's a simple, elegant design that remains timeless. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find a depiction of a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, which represent freedom, peace, and strength. This design is also symbolic of the unity of the American people. But while the design is beautiful and meaningful, it's the coin's condition and rarity that truly define its value. Now, let's get into the good stuff, the value of the 1987 Roosevelt dime. At face value, this dime is worth only 10 cents. But that's only true for coins in average or worn condition. What makes this particular coin interesting is its potential to fetch much more on the market, especially if you have a piece that's in mint condition or has rare characteristics. In the world of coin collecting, condition is key. Coins that are in uncirculated or mint state condition are far more valuable than those that have been used in everyday transactions. The 1987 Roosevelt Dime was produced in large quantities, but finding one that has been perfectly preserved over the years is extremely rare. Most dimes from this era were used and passed around in daily commerce, which means they've likely been worn down with scratches, tarnishing, and other signs of circulation. But here's the twist: if you happen to have a 1987 Roosevelt dime that's been kept in pristine condition, you could be looking at a much higher value. A coin that has never seen the light of day in someone's pocket or wallet is highly sought after by collectors. These dimes can command impressive prices at auction, especially when they are graded by a professional coin grader as being in top-notch condition. What makes this even more interesting is the possibility of finding a 1987 Roosevelt dime with minting errors. Mint errors are rare, and they're highly prized by collectors because they make the coin unique. From off-center strikes to double die errors, these imperfections can make a coin much more valuable. A minor mistake in the minting process can turn an ordinary dime into a treasure that could fetch thousands of dollars at auction. But now, let's get to the heart of the matter. How much could this 1987 Roosevelt dime actually be worth? Well, if you have a pristine, error-free 1987 dime, or even one with a small minting error, you could be in for quite a surprise. A coin in uncirculated condition or one with a rare minting error has been known to sell for astronomical prices, and in some cases, these dimes can be worth as much as $50,000. That's right, $50,000 for a single 1987 Roosevelt dime. It's hard to believe that a coin so small and so ordinary can have such a big price tag. But in the world of coin collecting, rarity and condition are everything, and if you happen to have a dime from 1987 that's in exceptional shape or has an error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, if you've got a collection of coins at home, or if you've recently come across a 1987 Roosevelt dime, it might be time to give it a closer look. Whether it's the condition, the rarity of the minting, or the possibility of a minting error, this little coin might be more valuable than you think. Before you get too excited, keep in mind that not every 1987 Roosevelt dime will be worth $50,000. The condition and any potential minting errors play a huge role in the coin's value. But if you do happen to have a rare find, don't let it slip through your fingers without getting it professionally evaluated. That's all for today's deep dive into the 1987 Roosevelt dime. I hope you learned something new and that you're now taking a second look at your coin collection. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep up with more coin tips, valuable finds, and fascinating history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting!